Hey, g'day everybody, it's Matt here. We're going to carve some miniature skulls today out of hardwood, carving out of 3 different types of hardwood, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to carve hardwood. And I'm going to tell you my favorite kind of hardwood at the end. Okay, so I'm wearing a glove today, and that's because I'm carving an extremely small carving, and you're more likely to slip when you're carving smaller carvings and your hand's not as far away from the spinning, rotating burr. Okay, so carving hardwood is, well, it's hard. And so what you need to do is, on your blocking out, is get your block of wood as close to the carving as possible. So like I'm carving a skull here, I made that cube as close to the edges of the skull as I possibly could, and then I actually you can see the angle on the jaw there, I took it down a little bit more on the bandsaw. And anything you can do to take wood away before you even start carving on hardwood is a good thing. Okay, so when it comes to general shaping, you know, your first kind of like shaping of the skull, I choose sort of the extreme burrs. You know, this is all personal opinion, so those are the ones that I kind of use on the right there. Okay, so when it comes to the speed of the Dremel, you can lower it down for hardwoods, and that sometimes helps. But I find like I sometimes go as fast as I usually do, and then with the burn marks I will take those out later. It's one of those things that you just have to do on personal preference. Okay, these are a nice little pack of kind of cheapish burrs. I've got a link in the description to them, but what I use them for is taking out the marks left by the extreme burrs on sort of large areas like this, and I kind of use it like a planer. I go really lightly, so I'm not using it to shape, I'm just using it to take out those scratch marks. But if you wanted to, you can use them for shaping as well. Okay, so I finished the oak carving and I'm using that as a reference, but now I'm on to wingy. And this is really interesting wood. It's you can see the really fine dark lines and the light lines, and a little bit like oak, it has those sort of like hard, darker areas and then the softer areas. I think it's quite easy to carve this wingy. It's definitely, well, it's harder than softwood obviously, but it leaves a really cool effect. It's like a zebra. I think some people call it zebra wood in fact. So I guess like the tip here is every wood is going to be different. You know, oak's going to be different from wingy, and wingy's going to be different from purple heart. I find purple heart extremely hard to carve. It burns very easy, and this wingy is not burning that easy. You can see some smoke coming out there. There are the lines. They look pretty cool. And I love the bit on the back. It looks like a target on the back of the skull. If you don't have any of those cutter burrs, you can use like a fine Kutzall burr and then a diamond burr to smooth it off. And I tend to use the diamond burrs as well to smooth off the areas that are hard to get to, you know, the inner parts of the eye sockets and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so here we go, purple heart. It's I believe it's really hard to carve, you know, and what I'm going to show you here is don't go down onto the end grain. It's really hard, so if you need to sort of like take stuff out and it's close to the end grain, take it out on an angle on the cross grain. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. Anyway, so here I'm going across the cross grain. It's hard to say. So here's the end grain, so you can see it really smoking there. But if I wanted to do it from the cross grain, it's going to take it out a lot easier. So there you go, see no smoke at all. And I tended to use that sphere burr, the extreme sphere burr on the purple heart. It seemed to work really well actually. Okay, so and in the description of this video is a link to all the Kutzall burrs, and it helps me out, and it helps me out with the channel. Nobody really gets paid a lot of money for making these carving videos, but sort of like if you get little bits and pieces there, it sort of like inspires you to make more. So yeah, use the link, and it's an affiliate link, so I get a little bit of a kickback, and you actually get a little bit of a discount as well. So yeah, follow that little link. Okay, so sometimes you just can't get around cutting into the end grain, and you just gotta, oh, I guess you just gotta suck up that smoke, yeah. And sometimes I'll use a drill bit to get through the purple heart, because it's a little bit easier than forcing a burr through, especially on these skinny little areas. I'm not sure what that part of the skull is called. Okay, so my favourite wood is black walnut. Let me know what your favourite wood is in the comments. And that's black walnut, the skull there, and I'm leaving a link in the corner up there to how I carved that skull.
Yeah, you might not wanna get close. We a little wild war, covered in tattoos. Run it up, taking all the views. Stepping on place, feeling the fear. I know you feeling it in the air. Whole squad wearing all black. Motivation's looking real bad. We back to the bone, raising a fire alone. We ain't never needed nobody. Give me 6 feet, this is my party. Ain't got no feelings, we heartless. Take a peek inside the dark.